Okay, today's dish is going to be Yankee Pot Roast. We have here 2 big pieces of chuck roast, flour, beef stock, mirepoix, carrots, onions, and celery, my seasonings, and so we'll get started. Yankee Pot Roast is great this time of year. We're going to start by seasoning this meat up. Salt. Okay, pepper. Always use fresh cracked pepper when you can. Okay. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're going to sear this. A little garlic powder, onion powder. Let's get this side. I like to use chuck roast because it's fattier, it has more flavor. Usually want a fattier cut of meat for this because we are going to braise it. The braising method is going to be cooked in moist heat for about 2 hours. Okay, so we've taken the chuck roast, seasoned it, then I put some flour on it, and then we're going to put it over here in this hot rondeau. Alright, that's what it looks like. We started to sear, so I'm going to sear all these pieces off, and I'm going to show you the next step. Alright, where we've seared the meat off. This huge piece, I even seared the sides of it. There's some meat, it's all seared off. Now, I drained out some of the fat that was in the, the rendering from the searing the meat. Now we're going to add our mirepoix. Cook our mirepoix down. We're going to fry this, get a little color on it, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I've fried my mirepoix a little bit, and this is the braising liquor. We're going to add a little bit of flour to this. We're going to make a roux. We're going to thicken it up. You don't want to cook it in like a thin viscosity. You want to have a little body to it. That's the braising technique, and so now I'm going to deglaze it with a little red wine. Let that reduce for a second, and then we'll add our beef stock. Alright, now we're going to add a little flour. The alcohol is cooked out. So thicken up. Alright, we've added the beef stock, and after we cook the meat, we're going to strain this. We're going to strain all this out, so it's going to be a nice, smooth stock. And I cook my vegetables separately. Now when I make it at home, I throw all the vegetables in there. I cook it for an hour, then I add my potatoes, then I add my onion, then I add my carrots. But for this presentation, I'm going to cook them all separately. Like I've cooked the onions, I've got the potatoes, and then the other vegetables I have them pre-cooked, and then I'm just you'll see what I do for the presentation. But we're just gonna cook this down, let this reduce for a minute, let it thicken up, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, we have our beef in the Dutch oven here. This is a real heavy Dutch oven. This thing is awesome. I love it. So I'm going to put this stock, which you can see is thickened up by the bubbles. It's not super thick, but it's it's about 30%. And then this is going to go right in here, lid on it, in the oven for probably an hour and 45 minutes, and then I'll check on it. So I don't want it to be mush. I want to be able to slice it, but I want it to be like tender. So it's going in the oven, and then see you in a couple hours. All right, it's time to assemble this dish. The pot roast is done. That's what that big bowl of meat is. When you tell when it's finished, I'm going to show you. You put your this kitchen fork. I've had this. This is a Heinkel fork. This is rare. I've had this probably 25 years. When the fork comes in and you can start to it starts to separate, comes out easy, you know it's done. I don't like to cook it to mush. And I have to apologize, I'm out of gloves. So I have to use my hands, which I don't like to use for this. Okay, so now we're going to present it in this rondo. I'm going to put the meat down the middle and then the veg on the sides. And I did have to add some beef stock to the sauce because it reduced to really way too thick. If it won't coat, if it's too really thick, and it globs up on the back of a spoon, it should just coat the back of the spoon very lightly, and I'll show you that. Okay, so we're going to slice this. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I like to cut them in about ½ inch thick. Nice portion. Can't be too fancy with a pot roast. Get this piece of fat out of here. See a big globule of cartilage and fat, I'll leave that to the side. Leave that to the side. I would eat that. That's just collagen. That's good for you. It's good for your skin and your joints and your bones. But there's ladies here tonight, so we don't want to freak them out. Oh yeah, this is going to be really good. Really good. Just going down the middle of this rondo. Just making nice portions. That's a good piece right there. Get that piece of fat off. Okay. Alright, I think maybe a little bit more. I did make a little extra. Fall transition. People's appetites change, just like in nature. Humans do the same thing. Alright. Like that. Clean this up. Bit. The old cutting board flip over. Okay, there it is, right there. So now we're going to garnish it. Some nice carrots. This is why I cook the carrots and the potatoes and stuff on the side. You know, at home I would cook it all together in a crock pot. But here we want to make a nice presentation. Okay. Right. There's the carrots. I love these little baby potatoes. They look cool. Okay, just like that. Really good. All these potatoes. Don't do too much. Potatoes, we got our onions. We'll put the onions down here. Alright, there's our onions. Okay. Now here's the sauce I was talking about. I did thin it out a little bit. It's got a good luster, and I'll tell you what I mean by nap head. That's a little bit thin, but I like my sauces a little bit thin, but somewhere around like that. Maybe it could be a little bit thicker, but this is good right here. It's going to make a nice glaze on it. And I'm going to save a little out for the I'll put in the saucepan they can put on it. There it is, your Yankee Pot Roast. That's really good. I'm gonna taste a little piece. Please like and subscribe, share my channel. I'm trying to build it up. Oh yeah, that's money. Thank you very much.